welcome everyone. Happy Friday and welcome. Hmm, Actually, I think maybe this. I think I lost my mind. Hmm, Give me 1 second lang. Hi, welcome sa live for this week. Happy Friday. I just finished another productive calls, and I know there's a lot of questions recently about updates, and of course the improved and new DIY guide na you can get for free on the website. So I wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about that because I know there are still some stuff there that maybe is not there, but I also want to address like why maybe it's not there, because like I said, I want this DIY guide to be as much as possible helpful for everyone, but also to not confuse anyone that is like maybe new to the digital nomad visa here in Spain, that type of stuff. But thank you guys so much for joining. We'll probably start in a few minutes. So if you guys have any questions, just leave them down below. I'll definitely answer them until everyone like gets here, because we do say we start at like 7 p.m. So wanna honor that just in case someone is running a little bit late or a little bit behind. Ayun. Definitely welcome, guys. And it's very gloomy na here, so I had to turn on the light even though it's like super early. It's like 12 noon here. Had to open the lights kasi sobrang gloomy na nung paligid. It's like winter season here, so it's definitely really cold. And as Mina, lamigin talaga. It's starting to get really bad. I had to wear like three types of clothing. Ganon. So definitely, it's 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 good. I mean, I feel blessed and I'm not really complaining, but oh, the winter season got me feeling down then. So I really don't like, it's my least favorite season. Um okay. Hi Ma, how did you start? Did you start, you mean as a digital nomad per se? Well, technically I started um in marketing. So I did some local brands in the Philippines that are also kind of global brands then, but mostly I did corporate work in marketing. And then from that, I transitioned into doing freelance work, and then I become a virtual assistant, and then I trained in coding, and now I web develop and dabbling into app development and AI engineering, but it's definitely a long way na kung saan napunta. So definitely each person's journey would not look like mine. I feel very blessed to be um like people just, I feel like, no. Like I believe in good karma and that type of stuff, that I guess whatever you put out there in the world, it gets back to you somehow. So I've been blessed with having good mentors then throughout my journey with freelancing, which, like really helped for me to upskill and upskill talaga. And of course I started very young when I was working. I'm now turning 26. So it's definitely a long way from where we started. I started working like when I was like 17, 16, something like that. So talagang I started early. But not necessarily like I was paid a lot. I did a lot of intern jobs. Like think 5K per month, even lower probably, because still have to pay for internet and stuff like that. But yeah, I was a working student. So I think that gave me a leg up of like I need to earn money, that type of thing. Ma'am, yung salary requirements, pwede ba siya coming from multiple clients? Thank you po. Yes, so you can have multiple clients. However, just because I got this message I think yesterday of a person that has a lot of clients. She has like I think 7, 8 clients. I would definitely tell you, just to be honest, that that puts you in a kind of shaky situation. I'm not entirely sure why there's a limit, because technically, if you're freelancing, you can price however you want, like that's your prerogative. But not only I guess the amount of documents they have to sift through, but also they find it unstable now. You need 7 clients to meet the minimum income requirement. So that definitely is kind of a red flag. So I would go maximum 4 clients to meet the minimum income requirement. But of course, if you're bringing a lot of your family with you, then that would make sense. Ayun. Let me just check ha kasi I'm not sometimes seeing your messages or your questions. Ayan. Um, can you speak Spanish for like 30 seconds para feel ko naman paano makausap si Mario? Ginawa mo pa akong ano, like, I ca I'm so awkward, guys. Like, this is my safe space. Please, like, maybe when I reach, like, conversational Spanish, maybe I'd be comfortable. But I try to practice daily with my sister-in-law then. But definitely I'm very awkward when it comes, because yun yung I think one of my weaknesses is like learning a language talaga. Kasi I took when we were in senior high, we took Japanese classes for like 2 years, and I didn't retain any of that. I retained maybe like introducing myself, and that's it. So yeah. So technically you become a freelancer when you're still in Philippines. Yes, exactly. So kailangan in Philippines pa lang freelancer ka na kasi sila yung dadalhin mo kumbaga na work pagkarating mo dito sa Spain. Hello po. Hi Nikki. Can a married person still apply for Spain DNV without bringing his dependents? Yes, definitely naman. Walang problema yan. Ayan. But before I answer more of your questions, I want to start by welcoming all of you guys for this week's live. Happy Friday. Finally, we're about to cross the finish line of the week. It always energizes me yung Friday. I love it. Friday is the best day of the week ever. Not that I hate Mondays. Actually, I hate Thursday because it's like this feeling na malapit na mag Friday, but it's not Friday. So alam mo yan, stuck between those two. But definitely welcome guys. Happy Friday. And ang topic natin for this week's live is just other questions that I'm getting a lot after launching the free do it yourself digital nomad visa guide to migrating here in Spain. So I still get a lot of questions, and I would understand also that a lot of people are requesting for an English complete English version of it, which I am trying to do. I will probably have that launched by next week, hopefully, for a complete English version of it, because we're apparently reaching then other freelancers that are not just Filipinos. So pero main priority ko talaga yung mga Pilipino. So I tried the DIY guide to be as much as possible kung ano yung kayang itagalog to be easier na ma-understand. Definitely yun. But I want to answer then yung mga frequently asked questions like bakit wala daw sa DIY guide to, or eto missing sa DIY guide and stuff. So the point of the DIY guide for me when I was creating it is that dapat sana as much as possible pack full of information siya, and as much as possible that you can DIY it yourself. But that does not mean you're not gonna do some research, especially for your personal profile. Kasi I feel like if I added some stuff there, it might get people na straightforward yung application lost. So definitely still have the free consult call for people na may specific stuff. But or you can message me or we have the Facebook group to answer questions then naman. How much po is the income requirement in peso? So I'm not good at math and I don't have it at the top of my head, but 2,763 euros, which is the minimum income requirement when applying in Spain, is about 100. Oh my God. Parang tumaas yung palitan. Ang taas ng palitan, parang ito yung pinakamataas this week. Yeah, it's 190,030 pesos. Sobrang taas. Yeah, I think nagtaas siya this week kasi I think it was 68.10 the beginning of the month, and then ngayon I guess it's significantly higher. But yeah, yun siya. So ayun, let's start with first the DIY guide. So ano ba yung laman nung DIY guide? Let me just get on that. There you go. Ayan. So first and foremost, I'll skip, the mushy stuff, which is a little bit of message for people reading it, and of course my table of contents. But it starts with ano ba, yung digital nomad visa. So for people that are new here, the digital nomad visa is basically a visa for remote employees or independent contractors slash freelancers for them to migrate to Spain and work there using yung freelance pa din nila na work or yung employer nila that they're allowing them to do it remotely. So, pagkarating mo dito sa Spain, ano yung mga kailangan mong gawin, ganyan. So, of course, you pay taxes here. That's mainly the reason is to boost their economy because you're not competing with the employment pool here, but also that you are contributing to social security and taxes. And why it's particularly very good with Filipinos is because after 2 years with this residency, you can now apply for citizenship as long as na-reach mo yung parang mga citizenship qualifications like getting to A2 level with speaking Spanish and like passing the CCSE exam, which is yung parang cultural exam nila dito, ganyan. And definitely it's a pathway then for other people for permanent residency. So that's really good. And then of course the next part is just yung qualifications. Like if qualified ka ba. So there's kind of like, okay, fully remote ka ba? Make sure na like fully remote ka talaga. And I go dive in more about like dun sa each questions. Like for example, if fully remote ka ba, work from anywhere ka ba? Ibig sabihin, hindi ka talaga required mag-report sa office. Because I do still get some people na paano daw pag hybrid, pwede din daw ba? So, yung mga ganon. And of course, for example, like for contractor, employees, or business owners, if like depending on this, kung contractor ka, independent contractor, freelancer, or remote employee ka, or you are a business owner. So, depending on those, that might actually like change up kung ano yung mga kailangan mo requirements, ano yung if qualified ka ba, that type of stuff. Because I also see a lot of business owners na asking me, especially in the group, if like they're allowed, ganon. So definitely that's another thing. But yeah, andun yung qualifications in the DIY guide. And of course, yung minimum income requirement. So yung minimum income requirement right now for a single person, nakalagay din siya dito, for a single person or single applicant is 2,368 if you're applying in the consulate for the 1-year digital nomad visa. And 2,763 euros if you're applying directly here in Spain, meaning pumasok ka dito with a Schengen visa legally and nag-apply ka directly here in Spain for the digital nomad visa, 3-year residence authorization. I also put there kung bakit ba sinasabi ko like single applicant ka nun. Kasi you can bring your family with you. So you can bring your partner, your spouses, your kids, of course, whether they're minors or adults, it would be a different setup. And then, of course, you can bring your old or elder parents. Ang ngayon, ang ano nila is dapat above 80 years old or at least 80 years old. But we've had clients then na medyo younger that got approved. I think the latest one we've had or the youngest one that we've had is around 51. And then we've also had another client just recently na parang 56, 57 yung mom niya, and they were able to bring her. This is though like not without any friction. So there were a lot of additional requirements that they did ask for them to bring their parents with them. So it's same then with your adult kids, because technically they're adults. So if they're above 18, medyo may complication lang doon. Kailangan mo i-prove na financially dependent pa din sila sa'yo. And then same goes for unmarried partners. So if walang legally binding anything like with marriage, like for example for LGBTQ couples, there is a different approach to it. And I tried my best to, as much as possible, put that all like on the same page. Like, so yung minimum income requirement for single applicant with dependents and stuff, and then sino ba yung mga pwede mo maging dependents, ano yung mga kailangan sa kanila. And then next part is other key requirements for dependents. So may mga key requirements kasi depende if they are adults, and depende din if iba yung health requirements, for example, for minors and adults. And of course, pareho sa lahat yan, yung proof of additional income. So kailangan meron talagang higher income requirement or savings if you're applying with your dependents. Ngayon, let's answer some of the questions before we move. I heard expensive magpa-translate ng docs for application po. Any tips? To only translate what needs to be translated, usually with my clients, the lowest I've seen someone is isa lang kasi yung client niya and diploma yung gamit niya. I think around 200 euros lang yung binayaran. And then, how much requirement for one applicant with one dependent? So, one dependent is, it's actually in the DIY guide, but single applicant plus one dependent is 3,256 euros for consulate in Philippines and 3,799 for Spain. Okay. And this is all your monthly dapat to na income, ha? What if po hindi qualified yung minimum income and been a freelancer for 1 year pa but meron allotment? They're very strict with the minimum income requirement. I know I posted then yung some update I think 2 months ago that they do allow you to have savings if ever to make up for some yung mga kulang na konti. Pero hindi yun fully ha. It has to be that mga around 200 euros lang yung kulang mo. So talagang ano lang siya, like nagkulang ka lang dahil bumaba or tumaas yung palitan, ganon. So dapat ganon siyang vibes to make sure na ma-qualify ka pa din. And then, need daw ng payslip and invoice for tourist visa. Pwede po ba yung statement na lang sa WISE? Usually, yun yung binibigay ko, statement sa WISE. But of course, sometimes kasi with the tourist visa, nag-ask pa din talaga sila na meron kang Filipino bank. Kasi yung WISE statement kasi is all online. So, either you get it notarized para mas legit looking siya or talagang kailangan mo ipakita yung savings mo. Kasi to be honest naman, ang tinitignan nila sa tourist visa, hindi lang yung pumapasok na pera mo. Tinitignan nila yung cash flow, magkano yung gastos nyo, every day, para makita nila kung, okay, by the time na magta-travel ka, may pera ka pa ba talaga na may iwan. Ganon. Ayun. Hello, may nabasa ko new update. 1 month na lang na ba yung bank statement then pwede na gamitin na po? No. So, this update is if you're renewing. So, pag magre-renew ka na, 1 month na lang daw yung invoice. However, I want to see it happen first. So, we do have one client that is renewing at January. So we want to see it first if it's actually a rule na they already like put in place, or is it just more of kasi don't forget this updates come from like a press conference, right? So it's not a written rule yet. So unless I see some definitive proof of it, sa batas nila, or actually in writing na sa official government website, I would not, like put my feet on the pedal and go for that. Need daw, okay, sorry. Okay, tourist visa. Question po, if naka-receive po ng requiremento from the consulate, i-check po ba nila yung unang packet or submission mo? What does that mean? Sorry. So, do you mean ba like in general yung buong application mo? Of course, titignan nila yung buong application mo. So, kunyari, may client ako, hinanapan ng ITR, for example. Um, and then sabi niya, okay, nagbabayad ako ng ITR, pero yung isang client lang. Yung dalawa, hindi pa ako nagbabayad. Ang magiging problema doon is, pag na dumating sa kanila yung ITR, siyempre, ko-compare nila yun. Okay, bakit dito sa ITR mo, ang baba nung, nung kinikita mo, or hindi ka pasok sa minimum income requirement. So, it won't make sense for them. So, of course, titignan nila yun as a whole. Unless maybe matapat ka sa tamad na, okay, high na yan. Ganon. Diba? So, maybe, but yeah, definitely they check it as a whole. They're very thorough. Kasi as much as it is life-changing for us, of course, for them then, they take this not very lightly. I mean, hopefully. What if po hindi qualified yung minimum income? Okay, I think I've answered this. Hi, Alex. Pwede po paki-explain if fortnightly yung salary? Iba-iba kasi lalabas computation monthly. Fortnightly. Kailangan ko i-google yung word na yan para sure ko na tama yung pagkakaintindi ko. So, fortnightly, every 2 weeks, no? Okay, I get what you mean. So, with this application, if every 2 weeks ka, which is same as me, ang ginawa ko ay annual, yung pinakita ko. So, ito yung annual ko, ito yung 1 year ko na kinikita. Ganon. Tapos, if ever man na, kunyari 6 months ka pa lang sa client na to or something like that, hindi mo mapakita yung 1 year, ang gawin mo is, okay, ito siya every 2 weeks. Ito yung computation niya for yearly salary. Basta every document that you present, i-present mo siya na annual base. So, for example, for your COEs, dapat annual yung nakalagay doon. Nakalagay doon yung annual computation, ganyan. Sa letter of intent mo, ganyan. Yung 3 years of experience, dapat work from home or freelance work or kahit other job experience. So, other job experience, as long as related siya sa industry or related siya sa parang job description mo. So for example, like I've worked in marketing in corporate, 'di ba? And it looks really good in my application nung nag-apply ako sa Consulate because it's a big global brand. So I asked the COE from them even though it's been like more than 3 years since I've worked with them. And even if yung client ko matagal na talaga ako sa kanya, like I was like 4 or 5 years na sa kanya, I just got those COEs para din makita nila, okay, ito yung CV ko, ito yung COE ko, I'm very like stable. I've never been unemployed for the last X amount of years, ganyan. And I think it really helps, if especially corporate, galing kang corporate and then now you're work from home, it means that you can actually keep a job. Like, it's not, alam mo yun. So, I feel like it's good to explain that. So that's what I tell, like, sa mga consultation call as a strategy. Kasi I actually, like, just, yung sa mga, pag ako, like, free consultation call, I tried as much as possible to ask all the questions. Kasi I understand some people, maybe they come in this blind, like, wala pang other research and stuff. And some people come in very ready, very kompleto na yung questions nila. They have it bullet point na. And actually, nasa first, second slide pa lang ako. Kumbaga, tapos na yung strategy natin. Okay, like, I feel like you're ready to DIY naman. So, I'm gonna walk you through the process, how to DIY it, ganyan. So, yun, definitely it's helpful when people did their research. Pero, ayun, definitely, I will tell you kung ano yung mga magagamit mo and stuff like that. Because it's good then to strategize very early on. Ayun. Okay, so far, Okay. Me LB ka ba before? Yeah, I've lived in Los Baños for the longest time. I've been there, I think, the longest. So, I grew up, yung mainly I stayed in Marikina when I was little, I think, until I was like 6 years old. And then I moved, like, sa Cagayan afterwards. And then once I went to college in LB, yeah, I stayed there pretty much until I left. May case po ba kayo na nanghingi additional si consulate then nag-reconsulate po? Yeah, that is definitely possible. Yung manghihingi sila ng additional requirement and then it doesn't suffice and then they ask again. And you should be thankful that they ask again. Kasi if not, that means i-deny ka nila kaagad. So, especially if ano siya, like, for example, may mga cases din na mali lang yung pagka-fill out ng form, tapos magme-message sa akin na, hala, ganito yung denial letter ko. So, mali lang yung pagka-fill up ng form, dinenay ka agad instead na mag-ask for a new one. So, definitely think of the additional requirement. As much as possible that I hope you guys don't get it. Think of that na lang din as another chance to like, try and prove yung strength ng application mo. Okay, gets. Okay lang kahit less than 1 year pa sa mga current clients. Yeah, wala namang problema yan as long as you can show yung work experience mo. If you're using the work experience or for may iba kong clients, they used their diploma. Tapos parang 7 months pa lang siya kay clients, which is also fine. What if flight attendant noon pa, di po counted, bago lang kasi sa freelance. So, if flight attendant ka, if your freelancing job is related to the airline industry, then yes, maka-count yun, I guess. But definitely medyo kasi mahirap. Pero if you're like in hospitality maybe, if ganun pa din yung work mo, you can try. Pero medyo mahirap talaga yun i-connect as a work experience. May age limit po ba? Wala naman pong age limit per se, but I do see some posts sometimes online that they are a little bit technically walang age limit sa law and stuff. But sabi nila pag hindi na working age, they do parang medyo mas sila, mabusisi, ganun. Ayun. Can you apply for citizenship within 4 years? You can apply for citizenship if you meet all the requirements within 2 years. Under the digital nomad visa yan, ha? Strict ba yung visa interview? There's not really much of a visa interview. You submit your documents if sa consulate ka mag-a-apply in the Philippines in BLS, which is a third party of the consulate. It's not really consular, parang sila lang nagko-collect ng documents, nagfo-forward sa consulate. And then here in UHE, it's all done digitally. So, ayun. Saan app pwede maghanap ng apartment? There's Idealista, Spot a Home, Tecnocasa. Of course, you can also look at Alquiler. So there are Facebook groups na like depending kung saan kang region, may mga Alquiler groups. And then of course, ayun. It would really depend then kung saan ka talagang city, kung ano yung magandang app na gamitin. Nanghihingi na nga po sila ng income tax return. Haha, ka-stress. I-explain ko na lang na nag-career break ako before. Oh, I think I saw your post nga sa Facebook group, JC. Oo, naghahanap na talaga sila. Hindi kasi kayo maniwala sa akin. Naghahanap na talaga sila ng ITR. Like, ang hirap talaga i-take nung risk. But of course, prerogative mo naman yan na pero yun, like, even with clients ko last July na pending yung application nila nun, ang nanghingi talaga sila ng ITR. Tapos, after nun, winidraw na namin yung application. Tapos, nag-apply na kami kaagad ng tourist visa para hindi mag-expire yung documents nila. Tapos, they flew here to Spain. Tapos, na-approve naman sila. Kasi nga dito, hindi talaga sila naghahanap much ng income tax return. Pero it's also helpful, especially if you're basing it on the 3 years work experience. Ayun. For the DNV, can I come home not more than 90 days? Sorry, nawala. Na not more than 90 days per year or for the whole 2 years. So for the DNV, what I would suggest is not more than 45 days out of the year. Dapat yung labas mo ng Spain. Paano po 'pag may family, how much and income yung need? So, depende po yan sa ilan yung dependents nyo. You can go check out the free DIY guide on my website. It's on the link in my bio here on TikTok naman. If ako po main applicant, need ba sabay-sabay kami lahat punta sa Spain to apply sa OHE? Not really. So you can apply them as well or like in behalf of them. But it would really depend. It depends yan sa approval rate mo sa Schengen visa. Kasi it's really sketchy to travel alone if you have a family. Mukha ka talaga magti-TNT. So it's best to bring family along kahit kayo lang ng husband mo, for example. Ganon. And then, of course, pagka-apply mo, pwede mo silang i-apply ka agad kasama mo. However, once then they receive their 3-year approval, this is not enough for them to fly inside of Spain. Kasi wala silang biometrics or anything like that. So, kailangan nila mag-apply nung 1-year digital nomad visa in the consulate. Pero sila lang. So, kailangan mo lang i-provide yung approval letters nila and then yung mga medical clearance, NBI clearance, mga ganon. 46 years old, pwede pa po. Yeah, of course, definitely naman. As long as meron kang work na. If minor ang anak at mag-apply ng DNV sa Spain, okay na ba yung solo parent, ID at affidavit? Actually, they don't ask for it. Ang dyan ka matatalo sa immigration sa Philippines. So, they don't really look for it here per se. Yung if yung mom lang, tapos yung kid lang, hindi kasama yung husband and stuff. Because they don't really, it's not a family reunification visa. It's a digital nomad visa. So, pwedeng may job yung husband mo sa Philippines. And so, they don't really like dive into that. That's why then, a lot of the solo moms or solo dads na clients ko, opted for this instead of, for example, like, non-lucrative visa, which is like ang daming savings na kailangan doon and stuff, and they're not even allowed to work with that kasi medyo mas lenient talaga sila when it comes to that. And of course, for the LGBTQ community as well, they're more understanding na okay, you cannot get married na naman in the Philippines, so they value yung other proof na ibibigay nyo. Ayun, and then what if hindi qualified minimum income but meron monthly allotment? Yeah, I think I've answered this, but yeah, definitely it will be a problem kasi they're very keen on the minimum income requirement. So, kailangan mo talaga yan ma-meet. Um, oh my God, April! Oh my God, hi! Ayun, wala naman akong kulang sa'yo. No? Mayroon pa akong backlogs. Ayun. Tapos, let me check. Okay. IT of current year or last 3 years? Depende. Kung you're applying with your 3 years experience, they do ask for the full 3 years. However, for some of my clients, na for example, kakagraduate lang nila, tapos kakakuha lang nila sa client for the last 7 months and stuff, they only ask for the current ones, the current quarters. But of course, it would depend. Kasi like I said, hindi yan fixed eh. Yan ay additional requirement na nire-require nila. And we do think it's not more of I want to see kung ito talaga yung kinikita mo. It's more of compliant ka ba when you were in the Philippines? Like, are you tax compliant? Kasi kung di ka tax compliant, sa Philippines pa lang yan, like comfortable ka, like that's your home country, paano pa dito? Like, when you're in Spain, di ba? So, parang I think it's kind of ganyan. Parang chine-check nila yung compliant, like if compliant ka ba. So, may other, not client yet, but I still answer questions and stuff ng mga nag-PPM sa akin. So, ang nangyayari sa kanila is he has like background in engineering, um, parang network engineering for the past 12 years. And they still ask, kahit may diploma siya, kahit nag-present siya ng parang 1 year niya na ITR, kasi parang binakpay nila yun nung yung 2024 niya. parang nag-ano pa din sila, na-deny pa din. Kasi I'm not sure if dahil nga nakita nila na late filing or something like that, but it's definitely somehow related to that. Pag-uwi na nag-apply since digital siya, need pa po ba nasa Spain or anywhere in Europe pwede? Kailangan nasa inside of Spain ka. Kasi hihingin nila yon na proof. Proof na you're inside of Spain. Aside sa tax, ano-ano pa po ba binabayaran sa government? I do have a post about that. So I think I need to redo that post kasi maybe hindi na siya ma-scroll down. So we're trying to hit 10K so that I can do yung parang nakakolate na siya and stuff. Playlist, I think. Not that good at social media. But yeah, ayun yung playlist. But definitely you pay social security and taxes. Yun yung babayaran mo sa government. How to apply po? So you can definitely check out the website www.ateinspain.com. We do have the free DIY guide there. Ayun, thank you. Working now for the Schengen visa and they mentioned to include this upon application. Definitely. Okay. Puwede po ba dito ang LGBT family? Exactly, yeah. That's what's great with DNV. So we've had a lot of LGBT unmarried partners, LGBT married partners through the Utah online marriage. We've also had approvals then for adopted kids, which is very important and very close to my heart because I myself come from an LGBT family and I'm also adopted. So, I not that I have favorites, but I feel like, wow, they're so blessed to like have this, like this experience and stuff. Then, wow, galing naman 6 months after. I'm not sure what did you mean. Ayun, wala akong, yung nagga-gather pa ng requirements na well guided sa ads mo. Oh, thank you so much, April. Ayun, follow nyo si April, guys. Kasi malapit na yan pumunta ng Spain. um, wow naman galing. 6 months after graduation and they reach income requirement. What niche po? Oh, that's what you mean. Pwede ko ba sabihin? Oh yeah, I guess. They are in like, ang ginagraduate nila is BS Accounting. So, alam mo yun, mga finance people is very well paid. Like, I'm thinking of switching niches. Okay lang ba college undergraduate lang but meron naman senior high school diploma? So, they don't count it if it's not a diploma per se. So, talagang kailangan mag-base ka doon sa ano mo, sa work experience mo instead. Aww. Ayun, naghahanap po kasabay mag-apply, mag 2 years na po ako nag-aasikaso, kasabay po. Kasi, oh my God, Kate! My God! Ano, ikaw sabayan kita. But definitely, I think you guys can reach out to copy Kate. Kailangan niya ng ano, kadouble para productive siya sa application. Ayun. What if I pay tax on my local job and do not pay taxes as a VA job? Can I use the ITR from my local job? No, because you have to read your ITR. Kasi ang nakalagay doon, employed ka, nakalagay doon yung company mo. So, it wouldn't match. So, they're very keen on the details. So, kailangan ikaw din keen ka sa details if you're DIYing this. Like, for example, for me, there's a part in my contract. Kasi parang yung contract namin nun ni client, parang ano lang, ewan ko, ChatGPT. Parang hindi naman uso ChatGPT nun. Pero, parang ano lang siya, templated na contract. Tapos parang may ano dun na may parang termination clause. And I was like, I get it na it's normal to have termination clause. Pero technically, wala naman kami talagang termination clause stuff sa company. So, we were like, pwede siguro tanggalin na natin to kasi hindi naman talaga tayo nagre-renew ng contract. So, she was like very nice naman to give me an updated na contract addendum and stuff like that. So, ayun, talagang dapat keen ka sa documents mo. Kailangan it makes sense, dapat consistent siya. And you have to think then in their shoes. Like, ano yung reason ba't hindi ko siya i-approve? Ganon. Like, hindi yung, ito yung reasons bakit kailangan niya ako i-approve. Ano yung mga reasons na ba't hindi ka ma-approve? So, ayun, kailangan mo talagang keen and organized when it comes to your documents. Need ba magpa-Japanese para makapunta ng Japan? Ano yun? Um, Pag family of three, magkano yung need na income? So, I do have a pinned post about it, but let's see. Give me a second. So, if single applicant plus two dependents, it's 3,552 euros for the consulate application in the Philippines, and then 4,144 euros per month in euros then if you're applying directly here in Spain. So it is a little bit higher when you're applying here in Spain. And also, magtataas na naman tong minimum income at the end of January. So, don't forget that, guys, na ang predicted ngayon is about 3 to 5%. But I would allot a little bit more because we don't know how well the, Spanish economy is doing. So I would definitely a lot more just so lalo if nagko-collect na kayo ng documents para at least may overhead kayo, hindi alam mo yun nakabook na kayo ng flight and everything for March tapos naabutan kayo ng taas ng minimum income requirements. So ayun. Um Sis, ano yung mentioned yun na ITR? So, nag-ask sila ng income tax return, which is ITR yung tawag, when it comes to applications in the consulate in the Philippines because they kind of want to look if compliant ka sa taxes in the Philippines. However, like even with the application we're having or receiving now, hindi naman na sila naghahanap here in Spain. So, if wala kayong ITR, I would highly suggest na dito kayo sa Spain mag-apply. Which city sa Spain ang pinaka-pinipili ng mga clients niyo mag-settle? Recently, there are a lot of people settling in Salamanca and Oviedo. I'm not sure exactly why per se, but because I do give them options, but I do hype up Salamanca because hype up people mga from Salamanca. They seem to have such a good Pinoy community. And for me, I guess yun yung hindi ko na isip beforehand that I would really just miss speaking Tagalog. I would miss, other meeting up with people, making friends talaga with other Filipinos once I got here because I was like, okay, I have my sister-in-law in there. My partner will come visit me from time to time because it's also from the EU. So I was like, I'll be fine. I think maybe I'll make friends. But as a person na very introverted, it's hard for me to make friends. And that's how Ate in Spain, was born because I was like, okay, ito yung DIY guide. Ito guys, ko, then daming nagtatanong, like, ate, paano ba to gawin? Or ate, ito yung nakita ko sa post mo, ganyan. So, definitely it's more of also to, make friends, and hopefully, I mean, some of you guys already are here and we probably already met and stuff like that, so that's definitely nice, but 100% um Salamanca, Oviedo. I think Salamanca because there's a big Pinoy community there na DNV din. So, yon, and medyo matagal na yung iba. Like, I think they were even like the first DNV people who applied like 2023 or early 2024. So sila, and then there's also Oviedo, which is I think also because there is this couple on YouTube. I'll try to look them up right now. But they are like also documenting, their life in Spain. I think it's called MJ and Seven. Yeah. So it's MJ and Seven in Spain. So they're really good at documenting stuff. They're way better than me in documenting their life in Spain. They're really good. They're both like they're digital nomads then. So definitely you can go check them out. Ayun. And of course, they live in Oviedo, which is kind of more parang hidden gem na place and medyo mas malamig doon. So, I think that's why also people are picking it. Ayun. Bale need ng 3 years. 3 years ITR bato. Kasi yun yung last question mo. But yeah. You're Spanish po or Filo? So, I'm Filipino. legit po ba nakakakuha ka ng citizenship after 2 years under DNV? Yes, because DNV, yung ina-apply dito sa Spain, yung 3-year residence authorization is a residency. So, etong residency na to, tayong mga Filipinos, we only need 2 years of legal stay here in Spain plus yung mga citizenship like documents na kailangan. I did a post like earlier last week, I think, about that as well. Like yung CCSE exam, yung A2 level na Spanish, upon application mo. So, pagkatapos mo ng 2 years na yun, pwede ka na mag-apply for citizenship. Ano usual reasons ng rejected cases? Kulang na documents, hindi maayos na present yung documents. Usually it's about always minimum income requirement or the taxes, or for example, yung client mo hindi registered yung business nila. And I've even had one na hindi fraudulent yung document niya, pero ang sinabi is fraudulent daw yung document. So I think there is some problem maybe in the QR code ng apostle na hindi na double check beforehand. Nag-expire na lahat ng documents. Oh my God, Kate. This is like the second time you did that to yourself. How about laundry? I'm working in cruise ship. What do you mean po sa laundry? Sis, if sa June na pa-plan namin mag-submit ng documents tas walang ITR, need ba mag-repay muna sa ITR? I'm not really sure. Kasi, look, ang tinitingnan nila dito is if compliant kayo since the beginning. So, if you're using your 3 years work experience, una, ang laking penalty nun sa BIR. Also, second, I think it would have been better to use that as a tour in Europe money. Alam mo yon. Then, at least, you had fun coming here. If hindi man kayo na-approve, you had this, like you had this trip. Kasi to be honest, I especially with what's happening right now, I don't know. But alam mo yan, prerogative nyo talaga yan. Other than that, if income is lowered, then that means you will get yeah, if your income is below the minimum income requirement, that means you will get denied. Um, we have been seeing some news on the possible change in government now will have impact on migration. Yes, but also understand that bureaucracy here in Spain moves very slow. So when I mean very slow, I mean that um how they approve laws and they get things implemented is so slow unless it's like for the whole EU. Like for example, itong EES, yung entry exit system, even ito, ang tagal na deliberate. It's been deliberated for 3, 4 years now. And only now, parang hindi pa siya fully implemented. It's like 40%. So may mga nakaka-receive pa rin ng physical stamp sa passport and stuff like that. Also, I don't know, like for example, yung Verifacto, which is yung parang united invoicing ng Spain, that was supposed to be launched this year and it still got halted again until 2027 daw. So you get what I mean? Like with this big changes, especially with this 2 year citizenship for Filipinos, I don't think it will be gone like like that. Like without you knowing for at least a year before or anything like that. And so far I haven't heard anything like that. It's just a lot of propaganda na anti-immigration, which is happening all over the world. Even US, even Britain has a lot of anti-immigration propaganda, which I mean I would never understand. But I do understand it at some level. But I really am like, yeah, I really am no, ba ano, like it's a political point of view which we're not here to discuss. So, ayun. For Schengen visa ba need nila ITR then? Usually they do need, but we've had applications that didn't have income tax returns. So as long as um strong yung other documents mo, then wala kang magiging problema. If income is lower than that, will I get declined? Okay, I think we'll already answered that. And then, sis, clarify ko lang, for bank statement, wala. Bank statement or bank cert, need ba yung ADB makashow or okay lang cash flow? What do you mean? So, ang tinitignan nila statement. So, tinitignan nila paano pumapasok yung pera and stuff like that for the digital nomad visa. They don't really care much of the end savings. But of course, if you're applying with dependents, that's really important that you have savings para mapakita mo makakabook ka ng flights, makakabook ka ng, like your payment here, pag ang tawag dito, pag magkukuha na kayo ng apartment, that type of stuff. Paano ba mag-apply ng freelancer na sa Pinas pa planning to migrate in Spain? It would be different. There are a lot of like, I guess, better freelancing or VA people out there. But for me kasi, I feel like my job in corporate really helped for me to work in freelance. And also, it didn't start that I was like getting paid six figures. It start like I said, like I started like probably 5K a month, when I was like 17 as an intern and stuff like that. And I definitely worked long hours, like way over my billable hours. Um just because I wanted to learn and I wanted to finish stuff. So it would really require a lot of startup, which luckily I was able to do kasi I was a full scholar in college. So most of the stuff that I was um spending is of course some for my family, yung for living expenses and stuff like that. But I had the time, which not everyone does, like they don't have much support from their family, which I get that. So alam mo yun, like it would really depend kung paano ka magsa-start sa freelancing. But I definitely would go na just go and start applying and see if ano yung reason why nade-deny ka, why hindi ka nabibigyan ng opportunity for um interviews, that type of stuff, and maybe tweak from there. Kaya nga in case ma-deny, imbes mag-backpay, pilitin ko na lang mag-tourist visa. Yeah, definitely I totally understand that, April. Kasi nakakatakot din mag-migrate. I mean, even me, I knew I was qualified in UHE, but I was scared also of the complexity. Like, wala pa kasing DIY guide nun kung paano talaga. And a lot of people were kind of gatekeeping the key information about how it is done. But since I have already 1 year sa consulate, when I came here, I was able to like access stuff and makapag-search na paano talaga siya gawin. And yon, so I just really like understand din yung hesitancy of jumping right in na mag-fly here to Spain with a tourist visa and you don't know if you're gonna get approved or not. Paano pa mag-apply ng freelancer? Okay, I answered this. Hirap magbayad ng penalty tapos pangbili lang ng bag nila. Exactly. That's really what yung main point dyan is, I don't know. And also, after that kasi, if meron ka ng mga late penalty and stuff like that, who knows, baka ma-audit ka pa, so. What percent increase ang possible increase for DNV application? It's about 3 to 5%. So, mag-prepare kayo ng talagang overhead nun if you're applying next year. Kasi if now it's 2,763, mga how much by next year if mag-increase po? Okay. I-math natin kasi I'm not really good at math. So, 2,763, ginugoogle ko lang din 3%. So, thank you Google, no? So, it's about like 82 euros na yung itataas niya if ever, if 3%. Pero of course, if it's higher, let's say 5%, 2,763, that will be about 138. So I would go here yung sa 138. So that means God, calculator. That means 2,763 plus 138. That will be about 2,900 for the minimum income requirement expected for a single applicant next year. Yun yung taas niya, most probably than not. I mean, for Schengen visa, yung cash flow ng bank statement. yeah, they do check yung cash flow. So, hindi naman kailangan ng ADB, hindi kagaya ng Japan, ganon. Ma'am, how to start? I'm a nurse and interested. It definitely po kailangan freelancer na kayo or VA for the digital nomad visa. Magkano po tax if 2,763 euro monthly ang income? I think you would be under 19 to 20%. Tapos minus pa yung deductions. So, ima-minus dun sa babayaran mo yung mga deductions and stuff. But definitely, I will try to put a link in my bio and update it. Or probably do a video with a free consultation call with my tax accountant. Kasi um, they started offering that. So, I want to connect you guys. So, para din matanong nyo yung mga tax questions nyo doon with my tax accountant here in Spain. Kasi genuinely, I trust them. Kasi, like I said, I'm bad at math. I don't want to like risk it. Hi po, what requirements po did you get from your clients? So you need your contract, your COE, your letter of them authorizing you to work remotely in Spain, your invoices or your payslips, of course, your certificate of good standing of the company. Um, it will be all detailed on the free DIY guide I have on my website if you want the full list of requirements and what they mean. So I try it to be more digestible, but it's based on the checklist that PLS does have on their website as well. Also, were all of your clients aware of your relocation? So I only had one client when I applied, but I do now inform people or clients that I am based in Spain. So, isa lang kasi yung client ko noon, but I do have multiple, pero puro project-based or masyadong mababa. So, I was like, okay, hindi ko na yan iano. Yung talagang yung main client ko lang yung dineclare ko. Also, para less requirements. Hi, is there a chance to get approved for DMV if na-deny na 2 times for Denmark Schengen visa this year? Oo, kasi hindi naman nila yan titignan. Actually, mas madali yung process to be honest ng DNV kaysa sa Schengen visa. However, iba kasi yung, alam nila, iba yung requirements. But definitely, if sa consulate ka mag apply most likely than not, ang kailangan mo is yung ITR mo. Hiring po ba kayo for remote? Oh, not po right now. For single applicant DNV, how much po tax per month ballpark? I think I created a video about that. But definitely it's 19 to 20%. Thank you, sis. Nag-check kasi ako cash flow sa bangko earlier at happy ako. Yeah, definitely. Ayun nga. Actually, yung tinitignan nila dyan is yung kung magkano yun din minsan yung expenses mo, ganyan. So, better if yung savings account mo is also your account saan pumapasok yung payroll and saan yung mga payment na ma-minus, ganon. Hello, pwede po ba mag-work ang dependent sa local company or remotely in Spain? Yeah, exactly. So, they can do full-time, walang restriction with hours, walang restriction with how many man yung nila, yung clients nila or magkano yung kinikita nila. So, they have full work possibilities, ganon. Dito sa Andalusia, ang laki ng demand ng caregivers. Karamihan mga nurses at TESDA graduate. So you guys can, connect with this person kasi, yun yung sa work here in Spain. Ate Alex, anong ma-advise nyo sa case ko po is sa uhe na mag-apply since di po talaga possible na? Yeah, you can try to still submit kung ano yung kaya mong i-submit. Try to create pa din yung appeal letter na hey, ganito kasi whatever whatever, yung explain yung situation mo. Pero ultimately if denied pa din, uhe ka na talaga mag-a-apply. How po? So you can visit the website www.ateinspain.com. We have the free DIY guide there. Magka-ITR ako since yun nga po OFW then career break. I get what you mean. 100%. Talagang medyo unrealistic din yung expectation nila na yun. Ask ko lang po, did you go to Spain as a tourist po ba? Or dun na kayo nag-apply? No po. So, ang ginawa ko is consulate muna. Kasi, at the time, so this was like, gonna be more than a year na. So, ang ano kasi before, hindi sila naghahanap ng ITR. So, and before, yung profile ko was okay sa consulate. And, yun. So, we were like, okay, try mo natin sa consulate. Para din, kung magbebenta man ako ng gamit and stuff. And also, I had to bring my dog. So, I brought my dog here in Spain. So, I wanted to make sure kung dadalhin ko siya, kasi magastos din yun, at least sure na. So, ngayon kasi ang problema is, ayun nga, may nag-ask na ng IDR, ng SSS ngayon sa UHE. So, medyo nagkakaroon na ng problem and ang option na lang talaga is sa Spain directly how much po rent mo? For single person po ba apartment mo? No. My apartment is 2 bedroom. One I use as an office. And then we have this living room, tapos bedroom. So medyo mura siya kasi minana namin to for my sister-in-law who's living here in Spain for a long time na. So, medyo mura siya compared sa other here in Barcelona. Pero sabi nila here in Barcelona, magsa-start ka daw talaga around 1,000 euros. But of course, may mga clients ako na, for example, Salamanca, Oviedo, nakakahanap sila ng mga 500 euros lang, parang 1 bedroom na maganda, fully furnished, ganyan. ITR ng Singapore na lang isasubmit ko. That works, JC. If meron kang ITR of galing sa Singapore, you can definitely use that. Ang problem mo lang is kailangan mo siya ipa-translate to English and then Spanish. Do you have any agency na ma-recommend po? So, I do run my own agency, but it's a small agency. It's just me. And of course, we have our Schengen visa consultant, Avi. But definitely, you can check out my website because I do more personal and empathetic consultation. However, I only take limited amount of clients kasi hindi kaya ng powers ko yung madami. And I want it kasi na I don't drop the ball on anyone. Especially yung post-approval. Like, after approval, ano na yung gagawin and stuff. So, yeah, definitely. Oh, thank you so much, Isha. Oh my God. I'm not even sure kung client kita or what. Oh, thank you so much. Ayun. But, also, I want to remind you then, guys, that there are other agencies there that are good at a certain type of visa. Like, for example, student visa and that type of stuff. So, make sure aware kayo kung DNV talaga yung, yung main stuff nila. Kasi DNV is a little bit more complicated than another type of visa. And I've had clients na they came from another consultant na hindi ang main is DNV. But there's definitely a lot other agency then that does the digital nomad visa. Oh my God! Trisha! Malapit ka nang dumating ng Spain. Hi, yung Certificate of Good Standing po ba need from all employers or clients you have? Yes. Lahat. So, lahat ng ide-declare mo. So, sinasabi ko sa iba, kaya 4 yung gusto nila i-declare lahat ng client nila. Kung ano lang yung ko-cover ng minimum income requirement, yun lang yung need yung i-present. Kasi, ang daming documents niyan. Baka magkanda pulubi na kayo sa pag-provide ng lahat. Other than those questions, I want to also answer questions dun galing sa group. Kasi ito yung mga frequently asked questions. So, una is, may show money ba na need for the digital nomad visa? So, technically, wala. However, it does help that you show savings. Kasi, of course, pupunta ka dun sa Spain. They want to make sure na you can live here in Spain with your salary right now. So, they do want to see na may naiiwan dun sa income mo currently. So, of course, you need a little bit of savings. But I would say, yung emergency fund, like 3 to 6 months na kinikita mo, especially if single applicant ka, that would work. But also, what can work is if may dependents ka, kailangan mo talaga medyo malaki-laki yung yung tawag dito, yung overhead mo sa gastos pagkarating dito. And then, of course, next is, pwede ba gamitin ang savings as supplementary for shortfalls? Yes, however, the shortfall dun sa minimum income requirement must not be more than 200 and how 200 euros. And how it works is 200 euros times 36 kasi 36 months ka magsistay here or yung iga-grant nila, and then usually that's the safe option there. Also, this only works in UHE or if you're applying here directly in Spain. It does not work sa consulate. Kasi mas mababa yung minimum income requirement doon. Next is, pwede ba na magkaiba ang type source of income para ma-attain yung minimum income requirement? Example, I'm also a business owner and a VA. I'm also a VA and a full-time employee. So the answer to that is no. First and foremost, as a business owner, you cannot apply for the digital nomad visa because this is for freelancers or independent contractors. However, there is a loophole wherein yung kung business owner ka and you pay yourself through your own corporation and you're an independent contractor of that corporation, then that can work. However, for example, remote employee and independent contractor ka din or nag-freelance ka on the side, you have to pick between the two. Either remote employee ka or freelancer ka. Kasi iba yung setup ng social security and taxes and it's not possible to combine those when applying for the digital nomad visa. And then the next is magkano ang nagastos mo sa pet service? So, I didn't hire an agency to do the pet, like my pet coming here with me. I DIY'd those application too kasi sobrang kuripot ako, guys. So, I definitely get din yung mga kuripot. Kaya, wala akong sama ng loob. If you guys are gonna go DIY, I would help you 100%. That's why we do the free consultation calls. That's why we do those lives. Because as much as possible, I wanna, help other virtual assistants, freelancers that want to migrate, just because every good thing that you put out there in the world, I believe that it comes back to you somehow. I'm very blessed for having this platform and all that. So yeah, definitely 100%. I have a video about the pet service thing kasi it would also depend on how like if you're gonna bring your dog with you. It also depends like what type of dog it is and that type of stuff. So definitely it would depend for each of the situation, but you have to look at the documents that you do need to prepare, and of course your preparation then for your dog, because we want them as much as possible to come here safe and healthy. Other than that, required ba ITR? So I think we answered this enough today. Required siya sa consulate, although yung number of years and quarter, wala talagang fix. It depends kung ano yung additional requiremento nila. But in OHE, so far, hindi sila naghahanap. What documents should be apostilled and sworn translated? I do have that now on the updated free DIY guide that I have on my website. So you can definitely go check that out. What are the qualifications for DNV? So we do have this as a quick guide, but also I have that on like the first few pages of the DIY guide para mas intricate din. Ayun. Qualified daw ba or allowed daw ba ang multiple clients? And yeah, allowed ang multiple clients as long as lahat sila, like I said, either independent contractor ka talaga or isa lang dapat yung client mo if you're a remote employee. Ayun, let's try to answer some questions we have here. Yung certificate of good standing for my US client, dapat ba recent? What if they got na for 2025? It depends kasi which state. Because some states do put when it was released. Some just put, okay, for the year 2020. Like their next payment is due for 2026, 2027, that type of thing. So it would depend. But as much as possible, just to be sure if mag-DIY ka ha, get a recent one, not 6 months, within the 6 months before your application, and it has to be apostilled. Sis, so pag nag-Spain ka na at doon nag-submit, kailangan pa rin bumalik sa Pinas or pwedeng doon ka na? So, pwedeng doon ka na and then you wait for your approval or your denial or if may additional requirements man sila. Pwede po ba tayo sa reunification or like if we could get our family members later? So, under the digital nomad visa, yes, you can get your family later. But, kailangan mo pa rin ma-reach yung minimum income requirement with dependents. However, though, if you become a citizen and you want to do the family reunification later, then definitely that's also possible. Pwede po ba forex trader? It would depend how your business is set up. Ano difference ng remote worker at freelancer? Remote worker means they're an employee, they're a standard corporate employee, but they work remotely. And freelancer means maybe you have multiple clients or multiple streams of income. You have part-time, full-time, but you are not parang kumbaga housed corporate na ano. So, sa ITR mo, ang difference nito is if you're being paid as an employee or self-employed or mixed income earner. Pwede kaya may other source of income kagaya ng online shop. So, like I said, it would depend. So, if you're a business owner, you have to still pay yourself or yung corporation mo or itong LLC mo, you have to be paying yourself as a independent contractor or a employee of that company. Good morning. Oh my God! Hi, Miss Farah. I didn't know you were here. Ano po yung health insurance mo po? Health insurance. What do you mean? Okay. Oh my God. Nawala. Which is... Sorry. I think nawala yung comment. I cannot find it. There you go. Okay. US client has already proof of good standing. Can they just give me a copy or I need a new one? Yun, I think I already answered this one. Which is more expensive, the digital nomad visa or the student visa? I plan to work and study masters. It would depend. Kung digital nomad visa ka qualified, then go for it. If student visa ka qualified, then go for it. I just think, I'm not sure ha, kasi like I said, I am not gonna pretend I know everything. So, for student visas though, I'm not sure if meron kasing limitation yung hours mo or how much you earn. So, I'm not gonna say one is more expensive than the other. But of course, student visa do not qualify as residency. So, you cannot really apply for the citizenship fast track after 2 years. Which one do you recommend if contemplating between student visa versus digital nomad visa? It would definitely depend. Kung freelancer talaga kayo and ang gagawin nyo dito ay mag-work dun sa freelance job nyo, because you can also work under the you can also study using the digital nomad visa, but you cannot work here in Spain. You cannot find Spanish clients. You cannot work here, physically in a job, ganyan. Anong agency po nagpa-process ng DNV? So, I do have my own agency. It's called Atain Spain. And you can view our website at www.atainspain.com. Ano mga documents you should already have if you apply sa Spain para di na like sa PH for more documents? I do have the breakdown of the document difference between consulate and Spain on the DIY guide. So, definitely check that out because it's for free. And you can definitely get access with that naman. Anyone could. And then, purely Spanish po ba clients or hindi naman po? No. So, actually, it's the opposite. You cannot get clients from inside Spain. If meron ka mang clients inside Spain, they should not make up for more than 20% of your total income. So, let's say 5 yung clients mo. Dapat yung isa dito ay Spanish, pero dapat like kung 1,000 lahat yung kinikita mo sa kanila, dapat ito 1,000 lang talaga. So, 20% lang. Okay. Dapat po freelancer and not remote worker. You can be either. So, either remote worker ka or remote employee. Actually, yung tawag. If remote employee ka, isa lang dapat yung client mo.
If freelancer ka or independent contractor, you are allowed multiple clients. And iba din yung setup kasi ng taxes. Okay lang po ba Pinoy clients din? Definitely. Ano po need kunin if Australian-based ang clients? You need their certificate of incorporation. Di ba one of the requirements po ang Spain accredited health insurance? Oh yeah, definitely. I have Feder Insurance. I have it on the link in my bio. Then, it's monthly payments, it's cancelable, and it's for the DNV, and both DNV and NLV accepted siya. And they have very good coverage because I still use them then. And I also add my dog as for the liability insurance. DNV lang po ba? Wala po bang for nursing? Oh yeah, so for DNV lang talaga to. Kasi yun lang yung alam ko. I'm so sorry. I just try on what I stick to what I know. Of course, like right now, I'm helping some families then with their non-lucrative visa. But until I get that down to a T, I don't think I'll start offering it as a service per se. Bakit pa kailangan ng insurance if you can use their healthcare naman? Because while waiting, you need to have private insurance. So you need to be covered. So for example, for the 1-year digital nomad visa, it's not a residency. Yung makukuha mo sa consulate, you have to convert that once you get here in Spain to the 3-year digital nomad visa. So ngayon, since hindi ka resident, hindi ka magbabayad ng tax. And since hindi ka nagbabayad ng tax and social security, you cannot use their public healthcare. So, just to make that clear. And of course, even dito sa Spain, pag nag-apply ka dito, meron kang travel insurance for your Schengen visa, right? Pag nag-expire yon and wala ka pang TIE or yung physical residence card, hindi ka pa nakapag-apply for social security, hindi ka pa covered ng public healthcare. So, it does not happen on an instant. It's something that you also have to work on, and that's why I also help my clients with the post-approval process kasi it also gets confusing migrating here without knowing any of this. So di pa rin pala magsa-start yung PR. Kailan po yung magsa-start? So the citizenship, yung residency counting starts the moment you get approved from UGE or the Unidad de Grandes de Empresas. So ito yung 3-year residency approval. So yun yung start ng residency count mo. Do we need to wait for a year or 2 before we can get our family? No, you can apply directly for them. So if under ng digital nomad visa, pwedeng sabay-sabay na kayo na pumunta. If you're talking about the family reunification visa, you have to be a citizen of Spain for a year first, and then tsaka ka pwede makapag-apply for family reunification visa. Pagka nomad visa po, can I apply for student visa pag andyan na po? No, not really. Kasi yung digital nomad visa, if yun yung ginamit mo dito, you should have used, I think, tourist visa to get here instead of the digital nomad visa. To be honest. Like, because it wouldn't make sense. Minimum salary required po. So we do have it on the website, which is www.ateinspain.com, and it's also on the DIY guide, yung per family, kung ilan man yung dependent na kasama mo. Nandun din yung breakdown niya. So definitely check that out because it's really helpful, especially before you join our free consultation call that I offer. It's much better to do a little bit of research and reading with the free DIY guide. Kasi dun pa lang ma-expand talaga dun sa consultation call yung ano yung mga pwede mong options. Pwede po ba e-sign lang ng client yung approval letter? Yes, definitely okay lang yung e-sign. Okay lang din kahit, basta okay lang kahit hindi wet sign. Ganon. So while naka-DNV and in Spain, we can still get them as long as your income can support them. Yeah, pwede rin kayong sabay-sabay. So pwedeng application mo, sabay na din yung dependence na application mo. Para sabay-sabay na kayong either pumunta dito sa Spain or mag-apply sa consulate. So, wala naman yung problema. And then, other than that, I think yung questions I have left. is just more about specificities dun sa DIY guide because we do have the saan ba mas better mag-apply na versus doon sa DIY guide natin. So definitely, it would really depend kasi sa personal profile mo kung saan mo prefer. But definitely, kung may ITR ka, okay, lahat ng income mo and stuff like that, then you have the option to choose kung consulate ba yung best for you or Spain. But for me, especially now na nagkakaroon ng problema sa pagre-renew ng 1-year DNV, yung pagkarating mo pa lang dito. Kasi yung ginawa ko, or at least yun yung nire-reco ko, pagkarating pa lang dito sa na ang galing mo ng 1-year DNV sa consulate, i-apply mo na agad yung 3-year like residency application mo. However, meron ngayon parang rule na kailangan mo mag-wait 60 days before the expiration of your visa. So that means parang 10 months yung hindi counted, na nandito ka na pero hindi counted siya for your residency. So kind of sucks. So it's better to get na agad yung 3-year instead of 1 year tapos 3 years. So that's how I would always recommend. Pwede po ba maka-work even naka-digital nomad? No po. So you can only work with your existing clients pa din. So you cannot find work here, you cannot work in Spain, you cannot like take clients na inside of Spain, ganun. Ano po need dun sa 3-year DNV Keme? And pwede yun instead of the 1 year. Yeah, exactly. So definitely read up on the DIY guide kasi it's the same documents mostly. Less lang yung documents when here in Spain directly mag-a-apply. So the 3-year residency, key requirements lang yung hinihingi nila. So wala yung medical clearance, wala yung ang tawag dito ITR so far. So wala yung masyado yung mga ganon. But definitely you have to check out the DIY guide on the website kasi it will give you a little bit more insight because I understand this is a lot of information overload, especially if you just joined ganon with the live because we've been here for an hour. So definitely I get it pag medyo may parts na it's not really clear. What if dun sa 90 days before mag-expire, di nila ma-process agad? So, they do have a fixed timeline of 20 business days talaga. So, if 20 business days, hindi pa rin sila nakapag-reply, on the 21st business day, you are now allowed to appeal for the positive administrative silence, which basically just means, by default, approve ka na. So, wala silang problem when it comes with that. But of course, there are instances na, thank you so much guys for hearting. Ayun, but definitely there are instances 100% na mabagal sila mag-process. I tell you guys, avoid July, avoid August, avoid December. By the conscience of God, I'm not allowing you to apply. Dun sa time na yun, kasi everything here is either short-staffed, people are on vacation, there are too many holiday days, people are in the Christmas spirit. They have 5 weeks of vacation leave here in Europe. So, they make use of that, of course, in December because the December here is super, like, a big deal for them. So, 100%, please do not apply during those times. Sayang lang yung waiting time nyo. Mauubos lang yung Schengen visa days nyo. 100%. Okay. Oh my God. How much po services nyo? So, it depends on which package are you gonna get or saan ka mag-a-apply. But definitely, I have that all on the website with the inclusions, exclusions, that type of stuff. But I do not onboard clients unless we get on a consultation call first, which is free naman, 100% free. Walang hidden charges or anything like that. I just need to evaluate your profile first. Kasi may konsensya din ako na I have to evaluate first your profile if you're qualified before you pay anything. And of course, I only take a limited amount of clients, so I cannot really onboard all the time. Right now, I only have one available slot for a family. So, I'm not really, or for a family or for single applicant. So, definitely, it would depend talaga. Kung kailan mag-a-apply, just avoid those days, yung yung July, August, and December. Other than that, pwede ka mag-apply whenever. Of course, I always tell people it's best to be ready. So at least 3 to 4 months before your application, mag-start na tayo mag-engage so that I can also see kung paano pumapasok yung pera sa account mo and stuff like that. And of course, things change all the time. So as much as possible, if qualified ka na, wala ka namang any planned trips or walang kang any ties to the Philippines that you need to be busy, mas best na mag-apply na as soon as you can because there are a lot of updates and like the person that came on here to say that there are a lot of immigration things that change over time. And you don't want to be, like, sayang naman na yun, qualified ka na and then it changed, diba? So, yun. Definitely, ayun, yung in regards to kailan dapat mag-a-apply. Oh my God. Oh my God, someone spammed me. Nakakaloka ka naman, te. Yung 3 years po ba need na remote work experience, hindi kasama yung BPO? Kasama yung BPO. So, ayan. Te, wait lang. Tinabunan mo na lahat. Sorry, I just need clarification. So, pwedeng mauna ka as DNV? Yes. Then later, reapply yung family under DNV? Yes. Pwede yan. Or pwede rin sabay-sabay na kayo and i-apply mo na sila. Or pwede rin ikaw lang yung mag-tourist visa, i-apply mo na sila lahat. So, it depends. Or definitely, we can talk about the strategy like that on our free consultation call 100%. I just know that wala akong availability too much around December because we do have a break from December 22 to 28. Pero, ayun, definitely will be back. And of course, I will notify you guys if my open slot ako na earlier because I do now need confirmation 24 hours before the call kung makakapasok sila sa call. Because some people just ghost me. And I try to block yung hours ko taking the consultation calls. So, definitely, ayun, I want to, as much as possible, like, mas maraming makahelp. Kasi sayang naman, yung nag-book ka ng call, tapos, hindi ka pala mag-a-attend, wala man pasabi or anything like that. Or at least cancel it on your end pag na-realize mo, diba? So, ayun, definitely meron na tayong ganong policy right now. And yeah, I'll definitely update yung mga, I know people already booked for January and stuff. I'll update you guys kung may earlier man na slot na mag-open up. Okay? May changes daw sa application and requirements for DNV. So, yeah, I just updated, I posted an update on the Facebook group. But wala namang major changes or requirements talaga. Dun lang talaga sa consulate. Ano po uli? June, July, July and August. July to August, and then December. Okay, confirm ko lang, pag nakapasa na ako ng 1 year, sa DNV sa consulate, can I apply my family right away sa Spain? So, with that case kasi April, yes. Kasi technically, wala silang 1 year. So, hindi nila pwedeng i-deny na, hindi ka pwedeng mag-renew or hindi ka pwedeng mag-ano. Kasi, yung dependents mo, diba, meron na kayo lahat eh. So, maghintay ka muna ng 60 days. So, there is a loophole now na ganon. So, we've tried that with a client. However, there is no assurance that it would work for everyone. Pero yun yung parang, namin sa intent. Na, okay, may 1 year ka, pero sila, pwede mo nang i-apply kasi via meron ka na nung 1 year. Pero, bonus points din kung ikaw din bibigyan na ng 3 years. Ayun. So, ganun yung ngayon, yung policy nila. Does it matter if makita sa bank mo na halos nauubos laman but pasok income requirement? Oo, pero to be honest, it's good to save up. At least, if single applicant ka, kahit mga 3 times the minimum income requirement, so that's around 6,000 euros. Just so makita nila na mabubuhay ka dito sa Spain. Alam mo yun, saan mo kukunin yung pang flight mo, 'di ba? So, para makita nila na may natitira talaga dun sa pera mo. Because of course, they know na mas mataas yung cost of living here in Spain. So, what works in the Philippines might not work here. So, ayun yung ano ko dyan. Yung 2 cents ko talaga dyan. Hindi po ba nag-update yung requirement income? Nag-update siya every beginning of the year. So, around end of January nila usually ina-announce. Usually, tumataas siya by about 3 to 5%. Ipopost ko naman yun sa Facebook group natin once I get a hold of the new information. Hello po, need po ba mag-present din ng bank statement ang dependent bukod sa main applicant? No, no need. Thank you so much sa mga help. Hoping to meet you sa Spain. God bless you. Oh, thank you so much, Milky. Hello po, pwede po magpabook po. Magpabook ng ano po FB group. Oh my God. I do have it link in my bio then. So, nandun lahat ng resource on the Facebook group and stuff like that. Magkano po usually nagagastos nyo monthly? For me and my partner, yung parang combined naming gastos is around 1,200 to 1,500 euros per month. Kasama na lahat yun. Like rent, pagliwaliw, date nights, groceries, phone plan, internet plan, that type of stuff. BPO experience counted din po ba? Yes po, as long as connected siya sa sa work mo na now. Ayun. Yan, sinagot ka na ni Luya. I see, nililipat ko kasi sa Maribank. Yeah, then you can show yung bank certificate ng Maribank. So, wala namang problema yan, Zara. No problem yun. Ang papakita mo, yung bank certificate ng Maribank. So, para lang makita nila na may savings ka. But technically, to be honest, hindi siya counted yung savings. Hindi yan, walang problema yan. Yung sa relevant degree, pwede less than 3 years working. Exactly, yeah. So, it's a and/or situation. So, pwede kang may degree related sa work mo. So, may client ako, kakagraduate na lang, 7 months pa lang siya working. And then, yes, na-approve siya. However, for example, wala kang degree or may degree ka, pero kagaya ko, hindi related yung BS Forestry sa work ko now, which is in web development. So, that means kailangan mo ng 3 years work experience prior. Paano po mag-book ng appointment with you po? So, I do have it on the link in my bio. So, you have to click on my photo there, go to my bio. It's at Ate in Spain, if you can find me on TikTok. I mean, here in TikTok. Medyo ako kasi nalilito. Pag kunyari may gusto akong i-PM yung creator, nalilito ako. So, yun. Definitely book there. But it's www.ateinspain.com/survey. So, yun siya. Because you do have to answer a survey so I can evaluate your profile. And then, you'll be able to book a call or I'll give you feedback on why hindi pa pasok for the digital nomad visa. Okay, pwede po ba parents as dependents if they are elderly? Pwede. If they're like more than 80 years old. However, we did find a loophole with one of our clients na ang parents nila ay yung isa 51 years old, yung dad niya. And then yung isa ay 56-year-old, yung mom niya. So, it is possible. It just needs a little bit more attention and more strategizing. Kailangan ba ng ITR? Yes, if you're applying in the consulate in the Philippines. Pero here in Spain, so far, hindi pa naman siya hinahanap. Saan pa nakahanap ng cheap accommodation rent? Kala ko 1K euro na agad yun. To be honest, what I would recommend 100% with this is that first, you have to pick which city yung fit sa'yo or which place, like province, yung fit sa'yo and sa budget mo. And then, next part here is kailangan mo isipin din yung mas better ba if mag-agency na lang, magbayad na lang ako ng agent. Kasi usually agent, ang bayad sa kanila, half nung first month mo. So for example, nakahanap sila ng 500 euro na apartment, then you pay them 250 euro as a fee. So, kumbaga mura na yun compared na 50 euro per day ang Airbnb dito. So parang 6 na days yun na Airbnb. If nakahanap ng agent mo, before ka pa mag-fly out to Spain, for example, di sobrang ganda nun. Kasi at least, nakatipid ka na sa Airbnb. I've known a lot of people, even my friends, na ang tagal nila nakahanap ng Airbnb, I mean, ng accommodation, long-term accommodation, hanggang sa nag-give up na din sila and nag-hire na lang din ng agent. So, I totally recommend, as long as vetted naman yung agent. Ayun, yung 3 years work experience, kahit anong job, dapat ba remote din yun? Hindi naman kailangan remote. Basta connected siya dapat sa industry mo or sa job experience mo. Or sa job title mo, sorry. Nice, thank you. Tsaka sinasahuran ko kasi BF ko, naka-name lang sa akin clients namin. Yeah, I get that. I mean, some other VA agency na small pa lang, ganyan, also did this as a, for the digital nomad visa din. Pwede po ba high school graduate lang? Yes, basta need mo 3 years of work experience. Can process work visa? No po. Ano pong ino-offer? Sorry, kakapasok lang. So, wala namang ino-offer per se. We're just talking about the Spain Digital Nomad Visa. It's a visa for VAs, freelancers, or remote employees to move here to Spain and reside here. Tapos, ang maganda siya if you're Filipino or galing ka sa Latin American countries is that you can now apply after 2 years of residency for citizenship. Paano po pag business owner here sa Philippines? Kailangan corporation siya, and then kailangan independent contractor ka ng corporation na yun. Since digital nomad, any naman po, basta pasok sa budget M, saan po nakakahanap ng agents? You can definitely look out. Iba-iba kasi, to be honest, yung agent. May mas mura, may mas mahal, ganyan. I would say, decide mo muna sa city ka, and then, tsaka ka maghanap ng agent. Question sis, pwede diba mag-travel all over Europe? 100%. So, right now, I'm not actually in Spain. I'm right now in Germany. So, I'm visiting my partner. So, yeah, definitely, pwede kang pumunta sa other parts of Europe under the digital nomad visa. Pag business owner here sa Philippines, may sweldo din ako from my business, pasok sa digital nomad visa. Would definitely depend kung paano yung setup. So, best to book a free consultation call. It's in the link on my bio naman. And it's for free. So, wala namang mawawala sa'yo, to be honest. You have complete requirements or any link to check it? Yes, I have the free DIY guide also on the link in my bio. It's also on my website, www.atainspain.com, and it's also completely for free. Pwede po ba siblings as dependent? No, so you can't. You can't bring your siblings. Saan kayo nakakahanap ng remote freelance work? Saturated na lahat. I'm not sure, to be honest. Like, for me then, it's so saturated. But also, I'm in the point of, like, I am not really looking for clients right now. But, it's just persistent. Sabi nila, parang 10 applications a day as daw dapat, kahit employed ka, yung ginagawa mo, just to see what's out there. But I'm not really like completely sure ganun. Ano po tawag dun sa agent? Sa FB lang ba yung hinahanap or agency ganun? Ano siya? Like, anong tawag dito? Usually kasi WhatsApp yung gamit nila din. So, usually may website sila, tapos WhatsApp mo sila kinakausap. So, depende talaga siya sa which city, be. Kailangan mag-connect ka siguro sa mga Pinoy na nakapaghanap through an agent para din at least alam mo legit yung agent na mahanap mo online. Anong niche mo, Mi? Web development po. I have the link in my bio, Anyman. Ayun. So, you can inquire there or at least look around with the free DIY guide, nung qualifications, that type of stuff. Ayun. With the free consultation, I also have it on the link in my bio on my website naman. Pwede ba niece yung dependent? No. So, nandun din yun sa link in my bio, yung sa DIY guide, nakalagay doon kung ano yung mga dependents lang na pwede. Paano yung 10? Question mark, sorry. Oo. Yung 10 oo daw. Tabi 10 applications daw dapat yung sinesend mo per day. Feeling ko that's overkill, but I guess if nasa saturated ka na niche, need mo din mag-upskill talaga. Pag BF po, pwede dependent or need po kasal. Pwede ang unmarried partners. It's just a lot more documents that you would need. Paano if naumay ako, uwi bigla? So, pwede mo i-cancel naman yung residency. Hindi ka naman nila ikukulong dito sa, sa Spain. Na dito ka lang, ganon. So, pwede mo i-cancel yung residency mo for sure. Pero, if you mean to just keep your residency and visit the Philippines, you can do so basta under 45 days out of the year. Full-time job po ako and fix ang salary. Pero yung part-time ko, di po siya pasok. So, yun kasi yung problem. Kailangan either you're a full-time employee or full-time remote employee or you have independent contracts, part-time, freelance. So, either of the two, kailangan mo pumili kung alin dyan sa dalawa. Hindi pwedeng full-time employee ka and ka din. Kasi ngayon, yung social security and taxes mo, magulo. Hindi siya dito sa Spain. Sayang lang, no? I mean, the 2 years is... Yeah, definitely. So, I also talked about that in one of the earliest videos I made here on TikTok about you don't need to just get ready financially, but also emotionally when I moved or like finally decided I will go full-time na digital nomad. Kasi it really is trying at times, especially if you're moving on your own, ganyan. And I moved here when I was like 24. So, alam mo yun. I was really young then. Oh, really young then. Magto-26 ka pa lang, girl. Ano ka ba? So, ayun. Magkano pinrepair mong money bago maglipat? I had savings of about, I think around 20,000 euros. Around that time. Pero yung in total, yung mga nagastos ko lang, most probably than not, was about, I think, around 180k, ganon. Mga 180k, ganon. Solo ka lang po nung nauna. Yeah. Mahal ba pagkain dyan? Mabubuhay naman. Actually, it's the same for me because I moved to Marikina 6 months before I was about to fly out here in Spain. So, parang same lang siya, to be honest. And sometimes mas mura pa dito. Pero of course, mahal talaga Filipino food dito. Like, mahirap maghanap ng mga specific na gulay, kung may hilig ka, ganyan. If makarating kayo dito, dalhan nyo naman akong sinigang mix, ganyan. Uy, taga-Marikina din ako. Sa kami, sa may panorama. If under DNV, pwede parang nomad talaga na palipat-lipat sa Europe or need sa Spain talaga magstay. Need sa Spain ka talaga magstay. Dapat dun yung long-term residency mo. Unless hindi mo naman goal ay citizenship. Hindi ba naman sila racist dito yung mga Espanyol? So far, I didn't have any issues. Wala akong any problem at all with them. Medyo lang sila, anti-tourists. Which is yung mga white people, ganun. Pero yung sa atin, mga Pilipino, parang sanay naman na sila makita tayo dito. Ayun. Diyan ka na ba magsasettle for good? We are thinking if it's here or in Germany kasi my partner will get the German passport then soon. So, we are thinking which would be a better fit for raising a family, ganyan. We're leaning so much here in Spain kasi we think the people here are more outgoing, more nice, and I think parang very kid-friendly, ganon, it's very pet-friendly, yun, so for me, yun, ganon. May bawal ba dalhin like meat, nor cubes, yung sinigang mix, pwede. Alam mo, sa na yan? Depende yan sa kung nasa siya, nasa check-in or nasa mo siya. Like, carry on, ganon. Ayun. Balik tayo sa ibang question. Sis, na-detect pa nila na wala ka sa Spain for long since walang tatak sa passports. That, technically kasi hindi. If you're inside of Europe, right? Pero, who knows? Maybe they do. Hindi naman nila sinasabi yan kung paano nila yan na-detect. But, ayun. Ayoko lang din kasi i-risk. So, I don't stay here for long. I just keep it under like 45 days out of the year talaga. Kailangan pala 150k ang sahod mo per month as VA freelancer para pasok sa mga. Correct. Another thing I wanna add, Sugar High, is that you need to maintain yung residency mo. Meaning, kailangan may long-term address ka dito in Spain. So, unless, sige, mag-iikot-ikot ka ng Europe, pero kailangan, mayroon kang apartment talaga sa Spain na binabayaran. Anti-tourist pero tumatanggap naman. I think I get why. Not necessarily tourists kasi they don't want, but if you're familiar with Bea Alonzo's visa when she became a Spanish citizen, it's the golden visa, which they already discontinued itong type of visa na to earlier this year. Because it's a visa, basically, kailangan mo bumili ng property or invest, in the economy of Spain. And then you can become a permanent resident here and stuff. So a lot of Americans, Canadians, British people that wanna live here in Spain did that. The problem with that is it outpriced the locals. So a lot of locals in Barcelona and Spain got driven away. So, ayun. Yun yung main qualm nila about it, na na-outprice na sila. Like, no local can afford living in Barcelona anymore or in Madrid. Yung dependent po ba na DNV can work without restriction? Yes. Sinigang mix lang gusto mo, dalhan kita laki, may pansit ka. Oh my God, pansit kanton na kulay green. Thank you very much, April. Please, yan yung dali mo. Tsaka nag-ano na pala, nag-isa-isa na pala na, ng request. Automatic na ba sa'yo German citizen pag ganun? Mas mahirap German language eh. Oh, no. I think if kukunin ako, let's say magjo-German citizen, I think we need to do the family reunification visa. I'll probably still get the Spanish citizenship though. So, we might just keep both. And pag EU citizen ka na kasi, you can just go use that. So, I don't think I even have to be a German citizen. Anyways, because kukunin ko pa din talaga yung Spanish citizenship. Just so also I can share my journey out here of trying to DIY it. Ganon. Goldilocks Polvoron. Oh my God. Tapos ano pa ba? Wait, maglilista ka sa April pag lapit ka. Ilang years ka na po ba dyan? Applying for citizenship ka na po ba? So, I've only been here for more than a year. So, it's still, for me, sabi nila mabilis na lang daw yan. Pero for me, it's still a pretty long way to get there. And I still need to pass my exams, to learn the language fully. So, it will take a while, I feel. However, we're planning na pagkatapak ng 2 years ng citizenship, ayan, ipasa ko na yung, dapat nakapasa na ako sa exams and stuff like that, and mag-a-apply na lang ako. So, that's the goal. Mahal po ba rent ng bahay dyan? Compared sa Philippines, yes, for sure. Mas mahal talaga. Sis, paano mag-book ng consult pag napasa ko na talaga lahat? Dalhin ko na cravings nyo. So, the consultation call, it's also on my website. It's www.ateinspain.com. Pwede bang PH, Spanish, German passport holder? Hasama na rin US? Hindi. Actually, I might just get Philippine Spanish citizenship. Kasi pwede yung dual citizenship. Sa German kasi ata kailangan mo i-revoke lahat ng citizenship mo eh. Kailangan ba talaga aralin Spanish o mabubuhay naman without learning? Well, me, I'm not conversational yet, but nabubuhay naman ako. But it's important to integrate to the place because in the beginning, I was kind of like that. But after a while, I realized na if I want my kids to stay here, if I want to stay here for long term, you have to make friends and stuff talaga. Ganon. Nag-English ba sila sa airport? Oo, nag-English naman sila sa airport. Wala namang problema. What if while in Philippines, ganyan sound, but when you get there na wala yung client mo, what will happen? So, the problem with that is, technically, they give you about 30 days to look for a client and i-report yun. But I also recommend to just pay pa din yung taxes mo. So, that's why I say savings are important. Para, kunyan, nawalan ka ng client, bayaran mo pa din yung taxes mo habang naghahanap ka ng client. At least, for citizenship mo, kasi for sure, kung nakaabot ka ng minimum income required, makahanap ka pa rin ng client mo na ganun. So, for sure, makahanap ka talaga. Ngayon, para maayos yung papers mo for citizenship, dapat i-meet mo pa din yung minimum income requirement na binabayaran mo for taxes. May mga magnanakaw ba talaga sa Madrid at Barcelona? Oo naman. Kahit saan naman, girl eh. Like, 'di ba? Kahit naman sa Manila. Like, lahat ng major airports, talagang may mga magnanakaw. Pero so far, wala naman. Di pa naman ako na-pickpocket or anything like that dito. Feeling ko, baka ako yung mukhang pickpocket, charis. Feeling ko, basta aware ka lang lagi. Like, sa gamit mo, ganon. Vigilant ka. Sis, gaano katagal processing? It would depend. Saan ka mag-a-apply, Sugar High. Ayun. Freelance ka po ba or remote employee po? Freelance. So, I'm an independent contractor. Malalaman nilang mawala ka ng client kasi pinapasa mo yung invoices mo sa, sa tax accountant mo. So, it would depend if, of course, magpasa ka lang din ng invoice mo or at least bayaran mo talaga yung taxes mo, like I said. If after 2 years wala pang citizenship, can you still stay in Spain? Yes. Kasi 3 years naman yung residency mo under the digital nomad visa. So, while waiting, dun sa citizenship application, you still have that. But of course, if wala pa din after a year, pa-expire na yung visa mo, mag-renew ka na lang. Paano pag 150k lang monthly? Kailangan mo ma-reach talaga yung minimum income requirement. That's a very strict requirement. Vloggers po pwede ng nomad visa. Depende. So, better book a consultation call kasi depende yan sa setup ngayon ng company mo. What if di ka nakahanap tas umuwi ka Pinas tas bumalik Spain? Counted pa rin ba PR years? No. So, you start from the beginning. It has to be 2 years of continuous legal residency. Ma'am, in demand po ba dyan ang nurses? I'm not sure. I'm sorry. Kailangan mag-hire ng tax accountant. Dami namang babayaran, EMS. Yeah, you pay for a tax accountant. I think I pay about 60 euros for bookkeeping and accounting. Tsaka sila na yung nagfa-file per month. Need na po ba ITR? For consulate, yes, we did discuss that earlier on the call. Talagang hinahanap na siya. Like, it's very much now requirement talaga. Ayun. Wait lang ha. Ayun. Oh, thank you so much to Hearts, guys. At least pag may natutunan kayo, just share this out. I do post yung long form, itong natin. Kasi this is about 2 hours now, I think. I do post this on YouTube, so better follow me there if you want the copy of nung full na napag-usapan. If you're just coming in, ganyan, or if may na-miss kayo, I do have all of the lives up on YouTube. It just takes me a while kasi like I said, it's just me doing all of this thing. So, it will take me about Monday to upload it. But yeah, definitely naman. Nandun yun. Sa ITR, need i-show yung years mo in freelancing. Yeah. In a sense. Like, it would depend. Like, for example, 3 years ka na. And yun yung pinresent mo, 3 years. Yeah, it has to match yung 3 years na freelancing mo. Before, parang easy lang eh. Parang kahit isang quarter lang or something like that. But I think after a while, they caught on and they realized na, okay, kailangan 3 years yung makikita nila, ganun. But yun, other than that, guys, thank you so much for just staying here and watching. Don't forget, for people that need the DIY guide for free and the free consultation call, just go to the link in my bio. wala naman niyang problema. Nandun siya sa may, alam mo yung TikTok profile, tapos nandun sa taas, parang Linktree nakalagay. Linktree Ate in Spain. So definitely, go out there and yeah, and nasa YouTube din to, yung full, ano. And if you have any questions, especially sa mga kakapasok lang, just leave them down on any of my videos. I'll try to answer them on video form para ma-explain ko din maybe my topics that you've thought about and stuff like that. We can talk about it on the next live. So I do this live every 7 p.m. ng Friday. I do some live here and there, but yung constant talaga is every 7 p.m. on Friday to answer kung ano man yung trending topics sa Facebook group, ano yung mga yun, availability and stuff. Nasa January 13 na yung availability sa consult. Yeah, it does, I'm so sorry that it does fill up fast. But definitely, if may any availability, I will reach out to you via email naman. If may opening or I will open more consultation hours, then I'll definitely open up to you guys. But yeah, thank you so much guys for watching and for staying with me here. Don't forget to, like, come here every Friday, 7 p.m. If you guys have any questions, leave them on any of my videos. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. And I hope you guys have a great Friday and a great rest of your weekend. Ayun, thank you so much guys. Ciao!